What's up everybody, this is Dani Reardon and I am here in my house and we are doing a question and answer. And I'm pretty excited about this because I picked 11 questions to do. These were derived from an Instagram post and it pretty much ranges everything from self-love to cheat meals to picking a coach. So we're gonna go through these 11 questions and I hope I answer some of your questions, dispel some myths, or maybe teach you something. The first one is from Tiff Fitney. How do you separate the ideas of self-love from the constant comparative and competitive nature of bodybuilding? Super awesome question, first of all. So we're dealing with self-love versus comparing and competing. First of all, let's talk about comparing and in the bodybuilding world and how useless it is for you to compare yourself to everybody else. The only people who need to be comparing anything are the judges. What you need to be comparing is you to you. It's a total waste of energy to be comparing yourself to your competitor because you're giving them, one, your energy and your power, and two, it really doesn't matter what they look like compared to you. What matters is what you look like compared to you. And I think that's where the self-love separation comes in, is because you need to think about, first of all, your intention for competing. Are you competing for you to accomplish the greatest mental and physical efforts of your life, or are you competing to beat somebody else, to gain a stupid trophy, or to gain some kind of competition status? You can see that they're very different in nature. One is about you and your personal goals, and the other one is about you versus everybody else. So I actually looked up the definition of self-love, and it says regard for one's well-being and oneself. One's well-being. So one well-being, so the love that you have of yourself. To me, what this symbolizes is do what's right for you. Do what you like when you compete. Compete for the right reasons. Compete for yourself. And love yourself so much that you do the right things to be who you really want to be. So when you do show up on the contest day and it's time to compete, you walk out on stage and all of your self-love, like, here I am, compare me. So you let your hands go and you let the judges take care of the comparing. And that's how you stay in your self-love. All right, this is from Ice Cream with Muscles. She asked me, what is my favorite blizzard or treat? Okay, first I'm gonna answer the blizzard question. Triple Oreos with cheesecake bites with whipped cream. That's my favorite blizzard. Now if we're going treats, we're gonna head on over to a gas station called Wawa. We're gonna get a large flurry cane with Oreos in it. And then we're gonna walk around the store. We're gonna get more Oreos, a little 6-pack. We're gonna get an oatmeal cream pie, one brownie, one warm cookie, probably some Kit Kats, probably some Reese's. Then get home, mush it all up together and then eat it. I like to create my own dessert, and I feel like a gas station, when you can kind of grab one of everything, is super exciting because then you're like the ultimate grab bag cheat meal. Yeah. Dino Clark. What do I do to calm sweet tooth cravings during contest prep? Funny, it comes after the first question. Okay, cravings is something that we all struggle with. I'm not gonna pretend to be all high and mighty about my sweet tooth cravings because they're terrible. But something that has really, really helped me a lot is out of sight, out of mind. Plain and simple. By deciding to do a show, you pretty much decide to cut sugar from your diet, unless you're allowed it by whoever coach you have. So you pretty much decide to cut sugar out of your diet. So why would you look on Instagram and Facebook and Cooking Network and all of these, why would you torture yourself? I don't get it. Like, doesn't that make your cravings worse? But I'm one of those people too. I'll purposely walk down the candy aisle knowing I can't have any of this just to look at everything. Like, we do this to ourselves. It's literally torture. So out of sight, out of mind really helps me. And like, if we believe that thoughts become things, the more you keep thinking about this food and these sweets, the closer you get to cheating on your diet. So just stop it. Also, making your own food taste good. So if you make your own food taste really good, now your focus is on what you do get to eat, not what you don't get to eat. And I think that's super important because your focus really derives, I think, most of your cravings. But when I do get cravings, because I do, gum is my friend. Not too much of it though, because one, it makes you farty and it makes you hold water and you do have to cut it out at the end anyways. But gum is like pretty awesome. And I actually keep a little diet soda container in my fridge, and if I'm like having a really bad like hankering, I'll go and I'll take a swig of it. Right now I have Diet Dr. Pepper. Sometimes it's Diet A&W, but I don't go guzzle the whole thing. It'll stay in there for like a week and I'll just take a little sip and put it back. Something else about cravings though. I really don't do a lot of artificial sweeteners. I even don't really even like to do like aminos and everything like that. I don't really like to do Splenda or stevia, because then you just have to cut more stuff out. I find the less I try to work my way around getting sweet stuff and like fake my way into getting sweet stuff, the less I want more sweet stuff. From Holly McVitie, she's actually getting prepared for her first show. And a lot of girls who have never done a show don't realize that you do actually lose a lot of fat. Her question is about, I'm getting prepared for my first show and losing weight in my chest, kind of making me sad. What are my thoughts about breast implants? Well, first let me tell you, boobs are fat. So the leaner you get, the less boobs you have. In my case, that makes me a happier person, because the name of the game is to maintain muscle and burn fat. So less boobs equals less fat. Awesome. Now the thing about breast implants, I obviously don't have them. What are you gonna do? Some people do. I actually went through this same thought process and I went and tried them on. And I hated it. Like, I'm so glad that I went and tried it on, because, you know, being like, I don't know, a 24-year-old girl, you see everybody walking around with these big boobs, and it's like, you know, you kind of get a little bit of an itch and you want to go try it. So I did. I went and tried them on and I looked in the mirror and I was like, no. And like, the thing is, I'm 5 feet tall, so anything this way makes me look super short. I looked heavy. I looked unathletic, and I didn't look like myself. And it really made me question, what am I doing? Who am I becoming? What is my intention behind even going to this meeting? And for me, it was all the wrong reasons. I'm not hating, I'm not knocking the knockers. What I'm saying is, go try them on, see how you like them. If they make you feel good, then get them. If they don't, then don't get them. I was one of those people, I went and tried them, and I was like, not right now anyways. Later in life, maybe, I don't even know, but right now, no. This is from Brooke Foy, at WP Brooke Foy. How do you know if your coach is right for you? I love this one. If you even have to answer that, if you even have to ask that question, your coach is wrong for you. Sorry. I've been through so many coaches in my life, through competing in cheerleading and weightlifting and now bodybuilding. I pretty much had good coaches, bad coaches, educated coaches, coaches who think they know too much. I've had it all. There's a big difference between coaches that you hope will get you to your end result, you hope they know what they're doing, and a coach that you have total and complete faith in that they know what they're doing. It's a lot better, easier, more calming to go through a prep having complete faith in your coach, like trusting you have your body in their hands and your trust in their hands. If you question them one bit, then I feel like your vibe is already off for your show. So don't really put hope in your coach. You need to be like, this person will get me where I need to go, period. And that's how you need to be competing and trusting your process. That's where trusting the process comes into play. If you don't trust your coach, you can't trust the process. If you're asking yourself, is my coach right for me? The answer is probably no, and you need to find somebody who is. But that's not always a bad thing. Don't think that you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Every coach has their purpose in your life to teach you whatever you need to learn at that moment. And so when you reach a new level of progress or anything in your career, sometimes you need to have a new coach to get you to that level. You need new tools to get you to where you want to go. See, the thing is, right now, I've had coaches where I question, and unfortunately for them, I have a master's in exercise physiology. So I question everything they ask me. AJ, my current coach right now, if he told me to eat dirt, I would do it. Because I feel like if he told me to do that, it's probably right, because I put that much faith and trust in him, and that makes all the difference. So go with a coach that you absolutely know will get you to where you want to go. From Casey Zena 8, how much do I play with macros during contest prep, and do I like carb cycling? Yes, I love carb cycling. I think it's awesome to do. And to me, it makes the most sense. So for example, carb cycling is eating more on leg day and back day when your body requires more energy and more nutrients, and then eating less on arm day and shoulder day, or things where you are working a smaller muscle group. To me, that just makes sense. And carb cycling also keeps your body guessing. So our bodies like the same food, yes, but to continue burning fat, and to keep it confused, you need to keep changing the amounts and the timings of your food around when you train. So really it's about eating and training smart and timing it right, and eating for what your body really needs. And I think that that's what really helps you get to the contest level weight. Not cutting out all your calories at once, not adding them in all at once. Eat for what you need. This is from Greggy Red. My favorite body part to work on. I love this question. For me, it's whatever's lacking. And I've always kind of employed this philosophy ever since high school. If I was really bad at the squat, I would do the squats until I was really good at them. And then by that time, something else was lagging and it was time to work on something else. So right now, my favorite thing to train is back. I really want a bigger, thicker, denser back, like really, really, really super bad. And I've been working on it all the time. And what's cool about when you work on the body part that you're lagging the most, you have the most room for improvement. So every time you go and train, even if you get a pump, you feel like you're over the moon accomplishing your goals. And that's where you're gonna see the most progression. And to me, that's like working out with a really good vibe and making a lot of progress. That's all I have to say about that, I guess. So train whatever's lagging. You're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you train your weakest link, eventually you won't be as weak anymore. From Shirwar. Do you have any advice on what to bring for your first show day? Yes, I do. I'm gonna put a list up on my new blog, which I'm excited that I've been doing, but there's also what I want you to expect. You're gonna be overwhelmed with excitement and nervousness and anxiousness, and backstage there's a lot going on. There's a lot of fake tanner and pump up, and there's rice cakes and there's peanut butter just everywhere, and it's kind of a whirlwind, to be honest with you, in the best way possible though. I say that to prepare you for all the emotion, but don't let it like dampen your excitement. And you're gonna be nervous, but realize you're nervous because you care and you put so much into this. But what I encourage you to do most on your show day is to be lighthearted. Be backstage and make some friends. You guys already did the war part. You already did the aggressive, grueling work in the gym, and now this is your reward. The show day is, everything's come together. Your hair and your makeup and your tan is on, so the best thing I could tell you is to be backstage and to be lighthearted and to make light of it and to make friends. It helps you with your nerves when you get on stage. It also helps you with your presentation on stage. You actually go out on stage a little lighter on your feet, and to me with just a much better energy and a better vibe versus scared, like shaking in your boots because you're back there with a puss face, not talking to anybody. So make friends and learn. For any of you who are doing your first show, learn as much as you can. If you're learning, you're not failing, especially in bodybuilding. After 20 million shows, there are still things that I'm learning. I think the one thing that's kept me super positive is that there's always something to improve on. And as long as you keep improving on those things and keep learning with a good, lighthearted heart, then your longevity in the sport will be super long and your vibe will be super positive about it. So develop a learning mindset super early on and enjoy the show. Fit Nation Live. This is from him or her. Regarding injuries, we know that they are common in the fitness industry. He asked, how do I stay motivated and keep going when you really can't do that much? Okay, the operative word for me in that question was that much. So you can do a little bit, right? That's what I'm hearing, is that you're not flat out laying on your bed. You could do something. Even if both of your legs are broken, you could sit there and do curls if you really wanted to. And the only thing I have to relate this to is when I had my nerve injuries. So like I could really not like pick up a weight at all. Anything that inflamed my body was just excruciating pain, and I really couldn't do anything. And it like kind of spiraled me into this depression a little bit, and I started to focus on everything that I can't do. Oh my God, I'm not progressing, I'm not competing, I can't even touch a weight. What am I gonna do? But then I flipped my script and I was like, okay, what can I do? And I could do cardio. And by doing cardio, not only did it give me that release of energy and that like reward pleasure system in my brain that went off, it also helped me lose weight, so then my nerve injuries would be a little bit more subdued. So by the less weight I have, the less my arms hurt. And by doing that and focusing on that, it led me closer to be able to train again. So I guess what I'm trying to say is focus on what you can do and do that really good, because eventually you're gonna be able to do something else. And the thing is, stay in the moment. Don't say of what you could do or what you have done. Doesn't matter, doesn't serve anybody right now. The only thing that matters is what you can do in this moment. And even if it's a freaking finger curl, that's what you should be doing. And focusing on doing the best finger curl that you can do. This one is from My Motivated Muscles. She asked, what is your biggest tip for someone beginning their bodybuilding adventure? I'm excited about this one because I think a lot of people have the bodybuilding world like messed up. They think that it has to be everything you hate. You have to hate dieting and hate cardio and hate training. And it's like, does anybody ever talk good about bodybuilding anymore? So my motto with this is, if you don't love it, don't live it. There are so many ways that you could do bodybuilding. Think about just doing cardio. You could do stepper, you could do treadmill, you could do elliptical, you could do running outside, you could do the spin bike. And then with diet, there are so many different combinations that you could do in order to gain your result. There are 10 different ways to skin a cat, as they say. And the thing is, if none of those combinations work for you, then maybe bodybuilding like isn't for you. But if you don't love it, don't live it. And for me, that means like I don't like fish. It stinks and I just don't like it. I've never eaten it on diet. And something I do have to say is that there's a myth about being super lean and eating fish. Like, you don't need fish to do that, which is why I aim to make my food taste really good. And then for cardio and training, for cardio, I do something I really like. Like, I do not like the elliptical. I don't know if I'm too short for it or what, but like, I just don't like it. I like the stepper and I like the spin bike because it's super intense. So I do those things and I eat my turkey and my egg whites that I like to the best of my ability. And that's what I can give people starting their bodybuilding venture is do what you like in the sport. You want to be able to do this for a while. You don't want to get burnt out. And I think the burnout comes from people not doing what they love and forcing themselves to do things. This one is from Wrestling Addict. She asked me the number on the scale. How much does it affect me? Do I measure? Does it drive me crazy? Do I measure my arms? Do I measure my weight? Whatever. Measurements, to me, don't matter. Even though weight doesn't really matter. Body fat percentage doesn't matter. Of course, you want it to be low. You want your measurements high, you want your body fat low, right? When we go on stage, they don't put a tape measure around your bicep or your waist. They don't, women's physique competitors, we don't even weigh in. And the pros, they don't even check your height. So really, not a whole lot matters with the numbers. Use the scale as a sort of progression tool to see if you're losing weight. But then again, I encourage you not to totally look at that because this even happened to me. When you first start a bodybuilding program, you're eating right and you're training right. You're probably gonna put on a little bit of muscle or just fill up what you do have. And all the while you may be burning fat, so you may be losing this way, you're gaining this way. So what happens is the scale meets you in the middle and it looks like you're not losing any weight. So stepping on the scale and being super worried about the scale going down is kind of a waste of time. It's a lot like BMI. Like if you do height and weight with no muscle mass, like consideration in there, a lot of us are like class 3 obese because we're super heavy and we're short. Look in the mirror and how you look how your clothes look. Are you getting leaner? Like, you know if you're getting leaner. And then the scale thing kind of also goes hand in hand with staying in the belief. What I would encourage you to do is to not look at yourself every day, especially when you first start. Because it takes your body a second to kind of like realize what's going on and start to click into gear and start working with the diet and everything. So it might be 2 weeks before you really start seeing any kind of like noticeable progress. But this is where staying in the belief comes into play. If you know that you are doing the right thing at the right time, what your coach is telling you to do, working as hard as you can, putting all your effort into it, and you know you're not doing the right thing and you know you're not getting worse, then you must be getting better, right? So with that notion in your head, I'm not getting worse, I'm just getting better. It's just not showing yet. Eventually, your efforts will be reciprocated. It's just a matter of staying in the belief long enough to see them come to fruition. Too many times we look at ourselves like too early or we take score too soon and we're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And that right there, that stress, that cortisol response, that why isn't this working is exactly what's gonna keep it from working every time. So don't pay too much attention to the scale because it really doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Don't get too lost in our measurements because guess what? They don't even check you on stage. Just work as hard as you can work. Be the best you can be. Do everything that you're supposed to do and the results will speak for themselves, not the number on the scale. Well guys, that was my 11 answers to your questions. I just want to thank you all very much for posting your questions on my YouTube. I mean, for posting your questions on my Instagram. I'm also going to be posting a write-up to all of these 11 questions on my brand new blog that I'm so excited to tell you about. It's on www.danireardon.com. So you can like check back there for a bunch of stuff, and for this article, it's like 4 pages long. Sorry. I just want to thank you guys for asking me these questions, because I feel like I've been a student for so long of life and of bodybuilding and of nutrition and of training. And I will continue to be a student. But what we teach, what we learn, we must teach. And so now here I am, doing my best to teach. I love you guys. Peace, love, good vibes, weights, protein shakes, Yoda slips. Awesome advice, thanks for the answers. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. We're trying to be more interactive and trying to like be more live with stuff. The first What's up, everybody? Hooty hi. I'm an example of that.
Bang.
Do what you love. If you don't love it, don't live it. Ooh. There was something I wanted to say.